So the other day I built this really cool modern looking inventory dashboard with Google Antigravity. It syncs with a Google Sheet that I have here. This is just mock data that I just set up here just for testing purposes, but it syncs with that data and it displays it right here in a neat little UI. And then the backend is just a simple n8n workflow, which I can show you how to build. And this thing, the best part about it is that I built this all in minutes with a single prompt. If this is something that you like to learn how to build, keep watching and I'll show you how to get this set up. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Vasquez and I show you how to build AI agents and cool automations. If you saw my last video, I showed you how to get set up with Google Antigravity and how to connect it with n8n. If you haven't watched that video yet, I'll put a link in the description below. You're gonna have to watch that first to learn how to get Antigravity connected to n8n. It's a very simple video. It's just an intro to Antigravity. But once you have that set up, then you're good to go and build this really cool dashboard with your inventory. So I'll briefly explain what this is. So right here, what I have is just mock data, but it's an inventory that I have in a Google Sheet. And then instead of looking at it in this Google Sheet, let's just say I had a lot more data here. It will display it right here. It has these bar graphs, has a pie chart, and then it has all the information here with some pretty cool icons. And the best thing is it really took no time at all. I literally just put one prompt in and I was just drinking my coffee as I was watching Antigravity build this thing. It asked me a few questions here and there because I have it set up to ask me for approval. But if you have it so you trust it 100%, which personally I wouldn't do, but if you have it set up that way, then it will just keep building and you can just watch it do its thinking. So it's pretty neat. And then the way that works is that the front end, which is this part right here, the dashboard, interacts with this webhook right here, pulls the information from Google Sheet, and then this responds to it, and then it's displayed right here. Very simple to set up. Now, let me do a little demonstration here before we get building. So let's say I add some data here. I guess, again, this is mock data, so it doesn't really matter what I put in here, but I'll just try to make it look like it matches up. Let's just say I have an iPhone, let's just say iPhone 13, doesn't really matter. Mobile, let's say active. Okay, and here I'm just gonna put, let's just say I see Calgary, just another city in my province, maybe, and then the name, I'm just gonna assign my pup. Value, let's just say, I honestly don't know how much this phone costs. I'm just gonna put 600, doesn't matter. Okay, there we go. So now it's updated right here. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to my dashboard and there's this refresh button right here. I'm gonna click on this. Oh, just double checking that it's published. Okay, all right, so I'm just gonna hit refresh. And there we go. Right here, this iPhone 13 shows up, mobile, Calgary, my dog's name, and then there's a $600 value that I gave it. Yeah, just within a click of a button, it refreshes if you remove data. So let's say I remove this line right here. Let's just see what happens. All right, saved, go back. And that was a Pixel Pro that I removed. So if I hit refresh, boom, removes that one. So it pulls all the information. Once you have that set up too, because this isn't using any AI agent right here, it's just pure automation. You're not using up any credits every time you're doing this. It's just the front end interacting with the webhook and n8n. So that's the best part too. It's a cost-effective way. You'll probably use a bunch when you're creating this website. What I used in this model, in this dashboard was the Google Gemini 3.1 model. The first time I did this when I was testing, I used Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.6. Now, it was definitely more efficient, but if you're looking at cost-wise, you're gonna burn through some credits really fast with that model, even though it is pretty good. But Google has a very generous free tier with their models, and what I have as well for myself is I have the Google AI One subscription. It's just the $26 a month, 20 USD, I believe, a month subscription. So it's not the full out subscription that I believe is $200 a month. But just with that one alone, it gives you access to more credits, so it allows you to you use more credits each day, and I believe it refreshes daily, whereas the other peer tier, I think it refreshes weekly. So you have a lot more leeway. So you have access to other tools, but just to clarify how I set this up and what I have, just to be a little bit transparent, but just my recommendation, try to stick with Google Gemini 3.1. This is what it created, so it still did a great job. It did everything exactly what I wanted it to do. So I was pretty impressed. I was really happy with it. Maybe it checked in with me a little bit more times for approval for some things, but otherwise I believe it did a pretty excellent job. And again, I was just drinking my coffee and watching it do its thing, so not a lot of work, and it did it in minutes. But anyways, enough talking. I'll show you how I got this build. I'm going to start with the backend, which is the n8n workflow. So let's get started. Okay, so I know I said I was going to start with a workflow in n8n, but I just wanted to touch quickly on the document since it's really quick to set up. So again, like I said, this is mock data. Now, what I did, I just went into Gemini chat and it just said, hey, give me some mock data for inventory. And this is what it spit out. So you can do the same thing too, or if you have an inventory sheet that you want to use, just grab it right here. But you want to take note of these headers, and if you don't have any, maybe I suggest maybe putting some in there. Now keep a note of this right here. You're gonna have to send this exactly how it is into Antigravity. So when it builds a site and it tells it what headers to pull, it's gonna grab these ones and it's gonna find them. If you have different titles here, or you have the spelling that's slightly different, you might run into an issue where the dashboard will not pull any data or show any error messages. But anyways, this is the sheet, so that's just how I have this set up. Now going back into my drive here, you want to make sure I've shown you this before, but I'm just gonna do that one more time. Just when you're sharing, just make sure that you have it set to anyone with a link. Otherwise, n8n is not going to see it. So hit done. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll just leave this open. All right, now going back to our workflow, it's just simply 4 nodes. And that's pretty much it. And really, these two are kind of doing all the work. I started off with those two, didn't work so well, and then I had to add these two, and I'll explain why. So starting off with the webhook node right here, I'm going to open this up. Okay, so I have my URL right here. So I put get inventory, and then just make sure you have this also just in your prompt, which I'll show you in a moment here. If you change a path, you can change anything, inventory, stuff, whatever you like. Just make sure that you save it. This is going to be get. Respond, you're going to use respond to webhook node. All right, authentication can be left at none. So for the response headers, you're going to put access -control -allow -origin, just like this right here. Pause if you like, if you need to type it up. This is just going to be an asterisk for the value. Now for the options, you can do this by going add option. And then you're going to have the option for response header. So that's what I did right here. And that is going to work with the site here. Now, I'll also send this as a template on my website, and I'll include the sample prompt in there as well. So don't worry about it. But follow along just so you understand how every node works, or if you feel like building it from scratch, that's pretty cool too. All right, so of course the next node is going to be the Google Sheets node. So let me open this up. So I'm just using my test account here. You're gonna say sheet within a document, get rows. Now again, I'm using from list right here, and then you just open this up, and then you should see all of your documents. I'm going to select inventory because that's what I have right here. That's how I named it. And it's sheet 1 down here. So then that's going to be sheet 1. That's the only one that's going to show up anyways, but if you did name it to anything else, that's what's going to show up on the list. Just make sure if they're importing from the template, you select your sheet. That's it for that. All right, close that. Now, the reason why I have this aggregate node, I added it there. So my dashboard wasn't displaying what was in the Google Sheet, and I think it was just getting confused because it was showing the multiple items. So in here, I believe in this example, I kind of modified a little bit, but I had 8 items, and it was sending 8 times like all this data, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, each inventory item, and then it wasn't sending it properly to the website. So what this aggregate node does, I have it set to all item data, all fields. I think that's just default, but I selected to this instead of individual items. I've used this before, but it just grabs all the 8 items and then it sends it as one single item. And then the website is able to take it. Finally, we have the respond to webhook node. Opening this one up, this one I select respond JSON, and then response body I have this expression, which is just a JSON from the previous node, aggregate node. So it's just one single JSON, and that's what it's going to send to your dashboard. Now that's the key thing for it to work, is setting these settings properly. Again, I'll have this in a template on my website, so you can just grab it, but I just wanted to explain how each of these are set up. Okay, so that's it for n8n, nice and easy. Anytime you make a change, just make sure you hit publish. I'm just gonna do that. Now, if you do publish it, like I have right here, which I recommend, open up your node, and then you're just gonna make sure that you select the production URL. That's what you're gonna send to your prompt. We'll see in a moment. But let's move on over to Antigravity now, and we'll get started with it, building the app. Okay, let's get building now with the dashboard. So this is just from the existing project that I have, which is this one right here. Okay, so I'm going to close this now. I'm going to do this from scratch. That's my other one, personal one that I'm using. Okay, so we're going to start off by going into a fresh new folder, starting a new project. So open folder. Okay, so this is the folder I just created for this demonstration, obviously just YouTube demo. So if I go there, there we go, clean slate, brand new. All right, let's get started. So this is the prompt right here that I have. Again, I'm going to just stick this in a sticky note in the n8n workflow template. So I just want to point out some things you want to change. Now you can use whatever prompt you want, honestly. Maybe you can just use this as a reference to see how I built this, but if you use this exact same prompt, I'll show you some things to change. So obviously you want to change the title, all right, to whatever matches your needs. This is the tech stack. Really, again, you don't need to know any coding, but if you are someone who's more technical, and you have a preferred way of building your site, feel free to just change this, maybe any libraries that you want. Otherwise, leave all the tech stuff alone. The only thing you need to do, if you don't know any coding or anything like that, change the title, and then right here, the URL that I told you to save, the production URL from n8n, you're gonna replace this placeholder with the production URL. So again, just going back to the workflow, webhook node, production URL, just grab that, and then you're just gonna stick it right into your prompt here, or yeah, your prompt right here. Okay, now the other thing you want to replace, if you do change it, is this section right here. So get dash inventory, that's from right here, get dash inventory. All right, so if you do change that, just make sure you update that in the prompt. And then this is another thing that you want to change. So this is sort of like an example that I'm telling the Antigravity, what to use. Of course, if you have your own properties, right, you can change that. So if you have, maybe you can set this item, name, category, maybe you want to change the weight, shelf, whatever properties that you have. Just put in the titles, and again, these are exactly how I have it in the Google Sheet. Category, status, location. So if you go back, category, status, location, just make sure you have it matching with your Google Sheet, whatever you have. And then I just have some examples. It's not going to look for this exactly, but I just have it as an example right there. And then the rest can stay the same. You can just, of course, change the name there once again, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to plug in my information here and stick it into Antigravity. So let's say you're grabbing this production URL, copy that, stick that in here. Okay. Oh, actually, sorry, my mistake. You're just going to leave it up to right here, your n8n server name. That's what the placeholder said, actually. And then this carries on, and then it knows what the production URL is here. All right, so my mistake about that. So your n8n server URL, and then this is just from your production URL, right? So this part right here, and then this is the n8n server address. Okay, then I'm gonna leave the rest the same for myself because this is for me, but just change with the other stuff that I told you to change. So once you have everything set up, just copy this. Okay, go back to Antigravity. After copying that prompt, I'm just gonna paste it right in here, and then I'm gonna hit send. And just a quick little note, I'm using Google Gemini 3.1 Pro, again, just to save on credits, but you do have options for Cloud Opus 4.6, which does an amazing job, but just an FYI, it's more expensive, right? And then you have more capabilities if you have the Google the Google AI Pro subscription, or one subscription. So that's a subscription that I have, is the Google AI one, the $20 a month, 26 Canadian a month. And then that one refreshes daily. You have more limits, and it's a lot more affordable. But just to not burn through my credits, I've been doing a lot of testing. I'm just going to select that. And in the demonstration in the very beginning, I used that model. So I'm going to see if it does the same thing here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit send here. Now, it's going to go ahead and start planning and thinking of how it's going to build this site. It's going to be going through the prompt that you just gave it. It's going to create an implementation plan. Then it's going to ask you if it's okay and go ahead with a build. So I'll show you how it does that. All right, so here it is. It comes up with implementation plan. It has the goal, some of the changes it makes right here, and then it asks you some questions right here. So some of the questions right here, it's asking me about the colors, and then it asks you about what to use for the charts. So I'm just gonna say go ahead with Tremor for the charts. You pick the colors. So I'm gonna say I'm good with the plan. You can pick the colors. I'll just go with, I'll just say, yeah, I'm okay with what that is right there. So go ahead with the charts for the chart library. Okay, so I answered the questions, and then I also said that it's okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say, yes, that's fine. So it's gonna go ahead and start building. It's gonna start planning. I have the settings set to ask me whatever needs to run a command. There we go, just like that. So if you do have that set up, just stick around by your computer. Just you can click on run, and then in between, you can just enjoy watching it do its thing, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna keep drinking my coffee. Okay, it's just asking me if I want to install packages. Again, if you don't know anything about coding, you just hit run. And then if it runs into any errors, I'll see if it does it this time. It did it the last time. The last time it did it perfectly the first time, which was pretty awesome. But if it does, it goes ahead and fixes them, thinks about it. It's pretty neat how it does that. But it's just going to continue building here. I'm just going to keep clicking run. And I'm just going to skip ahead just to get the video going along. Of course, I'm not going to show you the whole process of just me watching this. Alright, so as you can see, it's starting to build some files here on the left-hand side. So far, so good. Haven't encountered too many problems here. Just chugging along, building the application. Okay, so looks like it built the site here, and it's just testing it out. I kind of missed it because unfortunately it was kind of behind a window. But yeah, this is it. So pretty neat. Now let's test this out just like I did in the very beginning. Now, as we can see right here, this is the stuff that we put in here. I modified one a little bit. I named it George. $1,000 for a Pixel 9. So let's go over here. That's what we have. So let's see, ID EST-010. Make that look nice. That is a laptop. I'm just gonna say maintenance. Location, let's just say Toronto. Assigned to IT department. It's a maintenance, and I'm just making up numbers here. Let's just say, I don't know, 1100. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's what it is. Saves. Now I'm gonna go back into the site here. Now I'm just gonna hit refresh up here this time, and there we go. Lenovo Carbon. It didn't have that refresh button like my original one did. Now, before we call this a success, I just want to make sure if I can add that refresh button here. I think that was just the case where Google Antigravity decided, hey, that's a cool idea, and it went ahead and added it. I didn't specify. I'm pretty much using the exact same prompt. But let's see if I can do that here. Please add a refresh button so that it pulls updated info from n8n when I click on it. Let's just see what it does here. Alright, so it looks like it's going to go ahead and try building that tool. It's going to refresh. And there it is. There's a refresh button. Let's remove some data now. I'm going to remove, let's say, the bottom 3 rows. So I'm going to go back and let's just remove the bottom 3 rows. 4 rows, sure, okay. And so that's been updated. So I'm gonna go back. Let's test out this refresh button. Refresh. There we go. Bottom 4 rows removed. And let's just say, let's add another one here. 004. $1,000. Sure, I'm just making everything $1,000. Go back to the site. Let's just hit refresh right here. iPhone 15 Pro in Montreal, Andrew, $1,000. Looks like it's working. Now, I think it's cool. That's just me personally. You can add that here, I think, if you just put just at the bottom there, add a refresh button, whatever button you may like. Any modification you want. Like, let's say you see this here, you think, hey, that's cool, but I want this. Add it to the prompt. See if Google Antigravity adds that for you, and then just make it your own. This is really just something so simple. All in all, I think that took about I wasn't really keeping track too much, but 10-15 minutes I think is all it took, and then me clicking run. There was a couple times where I was distracted on my phone, but so it's probably a little bit faster. But there you go. There's your nice dashboard. Pick some colors. You can tell it to change the colors if you like, and it will change it for you. So really simple. Again, pulling information from here using a simple 4-node n8n workflow, which again, I'll put a link in the description below along with the prompt in that workflow in a sticky note so you can have it right there. It's all set up for you to use, all free. And yeah, hopefully you have an inventory in your Google Sheet that you can apply this to and build a really cool dashboard. All right, so there you go. You have a nice, clean, modern looking dashboard. Even if you don't know how to code, you can do this within 15 minutes with a single prompt. A couple little adjustments here, like the way I did with that refresh button there. But otherwise, it's a very simple setup, 4 nodes on that n8n workflow, and you have a nice way to track your inventory right here. Of course, everything is going to be on my website for free, the template, the prompt, and then you're good to go from here. Just keep in mind of the model that you're using. If you're using Anthropic, it's a little bit more expensive. Gemini has a more generous free tier, so if you're thinking about how much it's going to cost, just keep that in mind. But once you have this website built, you're not using AI from here. It's just communicating back and forth between your n8n workflow with a webhook. So from there on, you're not using any more AI credits. So that's the cool part as well. So thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I hope this was useful for you and it helps you with your inventory tracking, making things nice and easy. It also gives you a visual of how you're doing with your inventory. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I'll be building more content like this with Antigravity and n8n with various use cases, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, happy automating, and I will catch you in the next one. See you later.